It is. And human behavior, how we behave to things is we're always in survival mode. So we're going to do whatever it takes, right, to survive. And I think that's how most parents feel. We're barely surviving, right? We're not getting to thrival mode. We're staying a lot in survival.
Take the time to remind yourself that it all starts inside yourself. Wake up feeling stuck every day, then you gotta realize that it's all in your mindset. Read about the meditation, you go get around to it, you just haven't had the time yet. Yeah, I bet. Best thing that you could invest in is you. Could have the results or could have the excuse. Only one life, so take care of what you choose. And I ain't preaching, I'm just telling you the truth. Wake up.
Welcome to Bombastik Broadcasting with Kat, Kim, and Sue.
As you know, here at Bombastik Broadcasting, we believe in shining the light on all things bombastic and illuminating the folks who are stoking the fire in their souls, one podcast at a time. And you are lucky enough this time to continue with us on our bombastic series showcasing the phenomenal coaches that are going to be part of the upcoming Global Conscious Parenting Summit coming to you online August 8th for all to enjoy, and it's free. So here today we are showcasing Barbara Schellenberg. Hello again, Barbara. So nice to have you. Barbara is, her business is,
Transcend with Barbara. Yes. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Transcend with Barbara. And Barbara, if I remember, you're big on self-love advocate, formational guide of family, and so excited to hear what you're going to be talking about at the summit and what you're passionate about in this very moment. So thanks. Welcome again.
Yes. Well, I was just messaging some friends earlier today, and, in the moment, it's, looking obviously at what's happening in our world, even at a deeper level, where what's going on in Texas, what's going on social media. Another child died, I think it was in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, with a social media challenge, and it's getting deeper and deeper. And I thought to myself, on Instagram, on social media, what's happening is we're getting bombarded with more and more information of how to do this, how to do that. Parents are like at their wits' end. How do we maintain sanity in ourselves? And how do we maintain sanity in our family? And how do we find our children in all of this? Because our children, I know for me, I've even noticed that it's getting harder and harder to almost like get close with them in all of this distraction and overwhelm and bombardment of energies, and we're trying to evolve as souls, and just lots is happening. So where I wanted to focus on the summit was really looking at decoding really what's happening and how to take that. And, we don't talk for very long. So just a really just simple way to distill this down into one thing, which is shifting of perception, shifting the way that we're viewing all of this happening. Because if we don't shift our perception, I really don't think we're going to get through it very well, because the old perceptions aren't going to take us through this one. The portals, I think, are just too crazy. I don't know about you, but and so helping to shift that perception from looking more tangible inside out versus how can we look at what's happening and bringing curiosity to it and bringing connection to it. So reconnecting with ourselves and reconnecting with our families so that we can be stronger to get through these torrential waters. And I know that parents are really struggling with that right now. It seems like the rope is so long. So I'd like to talk about how can we shorten that and how can we decode some of these things that we're experiencing. Yeah.
Like that. I like the decoding. That sounds promising. I want to decode with you.
Yes. Come listen to it and decode. I'm going to give some tips on how we can decode this. Some tools, other than just mindfulness tools. Mindfulness tools are great. I mean, meditation, deep breathing, bringing fun and play to the day as much as we can. But I think, I don't know, I felt for me that I've needed to really go a little deeper and really anchoring through this. And I know a lot of parents I talk to are and my teenagers too. I have almost a 13-year-old and a 19-year-old, and it's intense waters with a lot of stuff.
Barbara, have you just covered your spiel, your tagline on the parenting summit says beyond conscious parenting, a multi-dimensional approach to viewing your child and yourself through the quantum reality. Is that what we're decoding? The quantum reality?
Yes, to help empower people so that they can, because, quantum reality is basically, the way matter behaves at its smallest form. And so if we can understand that if we can have a little bit more of an understanding of the why, I feel people can feel more rest assured and have less anxiety. And so can our children. If we really are understanding what's happening as a planet, what's happening in the quantum realm, so that we can really break this down. Because I think that otherwise we're just feeling like so much chaos, so much like literal chaos, physically,
Yeah,
emotionally, and mentally on all dimensions.
for
Yeah.
sure. So this
That
quantum
explains.
reality is really a transfer of energy, right?
It is. And human behavior, how we behave to things is we're always in survival mode. So we're going to do whatever it takes, right, to survive. And I think that's how most parents feel. We're barely surviving, right? We're not even we're not getting to thrival mode. We're staying a lot in survival. And I know that even some of the other speakers, like Dr. Radha, who's coming on after me, I believe her topic has to do with, teenagers and some mental health stuff. And I might be wrong on that, but there's a lot of that happening, and we're just not really even know what direction to turn. So we're trying to just out of desperation, trying to grab at straws. And I think that being empowered and understanding when our children are experiencing these emotions are energy in motion. They are giving us feedback of something that we can decode and we can look at, well, what's underneath that? What's underneath this intense shutdown? What's underneath the intense anxiety or the headaches or the stomach aches or the rash that they're getting as the way that their body's communicating with trying to process all the stressors.
For
Yeah.
sure. That's a lot to unpack. That's a lot to decode.
There's a lot. So I keep it simple. I like to keep things with tangible, like 1, 2, 3s, because if we can take everything and anchor it to a 1, 2, 3, then I can equip parents with no matter what's coming their way. Let's just break it into 1, 2, 3. And then you can digest that. You have a tool, right? Or if I just give you one tool, such as breathe when you're stressed, that's a great tool. But I think that sometimes breathing is not what we need when we're stressed. Sometimes it needs to be maybe, a shift in maybe how we're viewing our reality at that moment. The power of the mind is so powerful. And we kind of forget that when the emotions are running so high. We forget how to look at our thoughts and how our thoughts are creating our identities. And then, that forms, our beliefs about everything. And so if we can sort of work backwards, we can digest and transmute and alchemize what's happening. Yeah. And I think that's going to be required. Like what this I'm talking about is going to be a requirement to move forward in parenting. I don't know if we're going to get by with a lot of the old mechanisms anymore.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Speaking of that 1, 2, 3, I love a tangible example. So for our listeners out there, can you give us an example maybe of like how to decode in that way?
Sure. So if I would say probably anxiety would be a good one, because I feel like that's probably more prevalent because that's the first one. In my experience, you tend to see the anxiety come first and then the depression. If the anxiety is not dealt with, then it turns into the depression. It turns inward. So with anxiety, if my teenager, let's use a teen because it's prevalent in teens, is going through anxiety, one of the things, this first step is awareness. I'm going to be aware that they are processing this information in that way and that is their survival mechanism right now. In other words, the nervous system is just in a state of overwhelm. So we go to the second step. I don't know if these are the first 3 steps I'm going to talk about there, but in this example, I might get a little more detailed. But the second is going to be acceptance, where we need to really, truly understand and accept that this is the way in which this child is digesting and internalizing. And the way that I am internalizing and perceiving their anxiety is probably I'm anxious too. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you're scared. I'm scared. I'm terrified of what's going to happen to you. I'm terrified of what's going to happen at school. I'm terrified of what's going to happen to me. So we need to look a little bit deeper. Okay, well, we have, this anxiety, this energy that's in motion. Where is it rooted? So we have to go to a deeper belief system. So perhaps the child had not developed deeper perceptions of what's happening. In other words, tools like Thinking about my daughter, I have a daughter that has a friend with a lot of anxiety, and a lot of the tools that she anchors to that don't work are things such as things are happening to me. What's going to happen at school tomorrow? What's going to happen if I say this or if I don't say this? Like they're in an analytical mindset. And so in the quantum reality, if we are continually thinking the thoughts of, I'm afraid that this outcome might happen, then what happens is that typically that outcome will happen. And we're just perpetuating the storm, right? So if we go deeper into the next level of acceptance, that second part of the acceptance, we're really accepting that this is the way in which I'm thinking. This is a reflection of the way that I'm thinking. So I help the teen look at, what if we were to shift the thoughts? What if we were to shift into a different thought system? How would that make you feel? What if empowering them to look at both aspects? And as they go further into that, they'll get through the second level of acceptance, but then it's the action step. And a lot of times the action step is, okay, so now I'm going to show up with this anxiety and I'm going to be in charge so the anxiety doesn't run me, and I'm going to be empowered to step up and stand up to it, and I'm going to bring a different energy to it. But they don't know all of those things unless we shift the perception of what's happening. And so a lot of times we're still in the victim or the outside in approach. And in the, magnetic mind, I mean, we know that what we think about, we bring about. And so they don't even realize that they're feeding the cycle. And so the parent has to do the same things on their side: awareness, acceptance, and action. I need to be aware of, what are my own thoughts? What are my own perceptions? I need to accept that these are a reflection of my internal beliefs. What am I believing right now that's really not true or based upon the past? And then I need to go into the deeper level of an action step. And the action step would foster connection if I can really understand why I'm going to have that action step. Is the intention going to be favoring connection with my child, or is it going to perpetuate this, the thoughts that we're feeding? Okay. So, but when we're caught in it, it's really hard to do that unless you have like an anchoring system. It's difficult, in gentle parenting and conscious parenting and all the different advice realms. They'll say, you need to, be aware of what what you're thinking. What are your thoughts? But a lot of times we don't really know how to do that. I find that parents don't know how to do that because we weren't taught how to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's hard for all of us, to
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
actually nail down what's looping in your head.
I visualized a
Go ahead.
merry-go-round.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's like when I think as parents we've been through that, where it's like the centrifuge, and it just, like, the anxiety speeds up. So with that awareness, acceptance, and actions, like, get off the merry-go-round, right? First of all, try to do what you can to get off the merry-go-round, and then take those steps to kind of ground yourself and see things differently. No, thank you for that.
Yes.
That was a helpful answer.
Yes.
And Bob, I also know that you're a big advocate for self-love. Where do you sort of start with that?
Well, I feel so we have all parts. I think that understanding human behavior and in the human dynamic, a human will work on their highest values, and every human has a different set of values. And so when we can really appreciate and understand that every human has all traits as well, and we need to learn how to love all of us, not just parts of us, not just, the parts that we want to love, but all of our parts. And our children in our lives and our partners and everybody else we attract into our lives will do a really good job of mirroring to us where we are not in love with ourselves. What part of us are we in challenge with or not in full acceptance of? So when we can understand how that reflection or that mirror piece works, because people will talk about it. You hear about it a lot. Your child's your mirror.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like I like to go deeper with it because, well, okay, so they're my mirror. So what does that really mean? Okay, so then I have this happening inside of me. Okay, they're my mirror to me where maybe I had this as in my own childhood. But I like to take it as when we have their reflectors. So I like to use the example of the diamond. I use that many times in my presentations where when I talk to teenagers, I tell them that think about yourself as a diamond and your friend is a diamond, your mother's a diamond, and every diamond is a facet of that person. And that person is going to shine when they love and allow light through every single facet of them. But what we do as human beings in interaction and in quantum physics is we will be attracted to the people in our lives where we are there to shine the light, typically on their shadow side, because the universe is bringing us there to shine the light, and we're like, I don't really love all of this. Or I have judgment of you. I have judgment of you for being anxious or talking to me that as a teenager, you know, because they're processing their anxiety is going to come out in anger. It's going to come out in fear. It might come out in rebellion. And as they're pointing their finger, yelling at us, saying, shut up or whatever, we're totally shutting down because we're not understanding why they're doing that. There is a reason why a person behaves the way they do. And that's the part that I think is the gem. Most people don't get to the why. They don't understand why things happen. Why does my child say this? Why do I react this way? They try to give us coping mechanisms with how to change or alter it. But I feel like over the 20 years that I've been working in this field, there, especially in neuroscience, we know why now. We know why humans do what they do. It can be pretty predictable. Yeah. The mind is powerful. So
it certainly is. So do you work with a specific age group more than another one, or just any age?
I tend to attract teens because I can understand them and their language. They really, when I speak to teen groups, I usually am ranked one of the higher favorite speakers because their answer is on a survey that I do because I hear them. They feel very heard and understood because I know why they're doing what they're doing. And there's no teenager in the world that's not doing the best they can. No. Every teenager is doing the best they can with the tools that they have. But they maybe just need some different tools. Yeah. So I work with parents. I work with families, teens. I tend not to attract the littles because there's so much out there for the littles, I find. I mean, the ones that, give them more play therapy, things like that, right? Yeah. I tend to attract the ones that are wanting a little bit more, dealing with a little bit more challenges. I would say I probably work with more of the ones that have little more intense situation, or they've been around and they just really feel like there's more. I know there's more to this story and I'm not getting it all, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have 2 highly sensitive children myself, and I'm highly sensitive as well. And highly sensitive children don't respond well to gentle parenting, which was a very, very big learning curve for me. So,
that's
yes. So I tend to attract them as well.
Sure. Can I ask, what are some signs of a highly sensitive, what did you call it, a highly sensitive?
Highly sensitive child or highly sensitive person. It's actually a genetic, it's 20% of the population can be diagnosed with being highly sensitive. And it's a situation where in our neurological system, we actually have more neural connections than other individuals. So we can be very highly intuitive, more sensitive to sights, sounds, fabrics, things like that. But the reason why gentle parenting doesn't work as well, it'll take you so far with them, is they'll reach a point where in their mind, they're analyzing everything from probably the nth degree. So they need to have stronger anchors. They need to have stronger anchors, and gentle parenting can get a little bit open for them, too open. And so we need to have this balance of, it's kind of like, I call it the in-between. It's an in-between gentle parenting and maybe some other forms of parenting, but they really need to feel that guidance and that direction and be fully empowered to have choices. Because if highly sensitive people do not have choices, they're not happy, and they will conform with a cost. And if you don't understand that, you can really shut down your child, or you feel very shut down yourself.
I mean, most teens want to have a choice though, right? Even the ones that act like they don't. You know what I mean? Act
right.
Like
well, developmentally, absolutely. Any teen developmentally naturally is cutting off from their parents, right? As a human developmental stage. So they are naturally going to do that in different ways. But typically, I find that a lot of parents really don't know how to give them choices in a way where they're also giving themselves a choice. Like it's a win-win for both. I feel like they feel it's one way or the other. Like there has to be a winner and a loser, but there really can be a winner and a winner. And that's really how cooperation and community works, right?
Yes. That's the magic right there.
That is the magic. I could do a talk on that too.
I know. Part of this global parenting summit that's coming up. I mean, it's so exciting that there's how many of you? How many coaches are going to be?
30. I think there's 30.
Awesome. So there's a right
Yeah.
fit for everyone who's going to be watching this. So if any of this is ringing a bell, it's so exciting. I think this is really an interesting topic that you're broaching. Do you know any like adults that were highly sensitive, or like movie stars that were highly
Yeah.
sensitive,
Well,
celebrities? I'm just trying to
yeah,
think of a
there's a lot.
category.
Off the top of my head, I mean, Einstein was highly sensitive.
I
A
was
lot
thinking they're
of,
probably highly gifted too if they're
yes,
channeled the right way. And they're
yes,
probably, are they a little
yes.
rebellious maybe as teenagers?
Well, they will rebel if they're overwhelmed, because that's typically what a teenager does. They're trying to manage all the information, and they feel like they're out of control, so they're going to try to gain control somewhere wherever they can.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, but with a highly sensitive, they really are going to, they have an internal system where they judge themselves, and they have a very high shame meter, is what we call it. So they're constantly critiquing themselves and feeling more shameful of themselves. So we have to be more careful of how we interact with them, or we can really perpetuate the shame cycle for them. So they're very easily triggered into that. I can't do what my other friends do. I can't seem to, tolerate life like everybody else. What's wrong with me? I seem to overanalyze even what's at lunch, where everybody else is like, well, who cares? Just grab 1, 2, or 3, They tend to feel so alone because they're 20%, right? So they already feel like a lost sheep. And so if we can really shine a light on them and celebrate that. So sometimes they can be a little bit less with communication. They're usually very expressive of their feelings, typically. But if it's safe, if it's not safe, then they'll shut down. So yes, I know so many more, but I just can't think of them right now. There's
It's
so
fine.
many HSCs, just like ADDs and ADHDs, but
Yeah.
those are just, again, different ways. A lot of people are misdiagnosed with HSC as being attention deficit when really they're highly sensitive.
Wow.
Yeah, if anyone's ever interested in learning more about HSC or highly sensitive children, Megan Thompson is one of our leading experts in that right now. She just wrote a book, How to Rewire the highly sensitive brain, I think is something to that effect. How to rewire the highly sensitive brain or highly sensitive child. But I just finished it. I actually, from Florida to Minnesota on the car ride, I read it from literally, I never skipped a page, which is a very rare thing for me because it was that good. So I highly recommend her book. Yeah. For people that
Wow.
have highly sensitive children or are considering that their child has that. Yes.
How cool to even know that just exists. So
It exists, and she just published it. Like, she finally got it out there. I was like, yay! So,
That's great. Do you know her
yes.
personally then?
Well, I know her because I took her program.
Oh, okay.
I
Lovely.
found her online out of desperation, going, there's because again, gentle parenting wasn't working, and I had a lot of knowledge under my belt, and I thought, well, if I can't figure this out, what the heck? What I mean, I felt completely, then you really feel like you're at a loss. Like, great, like all the, every book and every podcast, and nothing was working. So what I figured out was I had to start searching the internet differently, and she started getting more active on the internet, right? So it was a good match, win-win.
Oh,
Universe brought us
nice.
together, and so yeah, my
Nice.
husband and I took her program.
Oh,
So she has an
lovely.
online program, a boot camp is what she calls it. Megan Thompson's Ninja, is it Ninja Boot Camp or something to that effect. So if anyone's listened to this, yeah, they may be taking it, but
Perfect.
it's a great program. And then I got to know her, yes, through that.
that's such a cool niche, And what else would you like to tell us about the summit?
Well, they're going to be short little increments. So I feel like if somebody listens to the summit, they're going to know. My advice is definitely, it's free. Sign up for it and listen to the ones that you're called to or resonate with, because they're probably the ones that are your match. I mean, listening to all of them if you want, but I mean, it can be a lot of people. And all of us are going to be offering gifts and opportunities to the summit members. So I mean, the gifts are going to keep being plentiful and bountiful. So, more and more support can be coming. And I know that there's going to be replays and such. So I feel like this is a great place to see some of the up and coming. We've listened to a lot of the popular people in this industry, out there on the same movement, making the same revolution. And I think that there's a lot of people in the summit that are going to have fresh, different insights, such as myself. I don't think,
Yes.
there's not very many people out there talking about the quantum field and how we're applying that to parenting, and some other things. So I think that it's going to be a great opportunity, and I'm very blessed to be a part of it. I'm excited.
We're so excited to have all the coaches on our podcast, because those are the ones we love to interview, the up and coming future.
Yes. The up and coming
future leaders.
Yes. And providing more, I feel like in this summit, there's going to be a lot of like playfulness. I know that Alia and Diana were very much, their motto is bringing more play to to this. And my motto is actually to play the game more fun. Parenting can be way more fun if we know how to play the game. But a lot of times we don't have those tools. And so it gets really devastatingly, isolatingly alone. And we don't talk about that very much, how alone and isolating it feels, even no matter how many friends you have on Instagram or Facebook. It's a lonely gig. And it's not all the time that you find even other moms, even at the moms groups and such. And as your kids get older, boy, does that get harder. It gets harder.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of that isolation happening. And we're really wanting to try to cultivate more human connection and more community is what a lot of the coaches and the professionals, even in the parenting revolution, is about bringing this back. And I do mind, body, spirit. I'm a chiropractor as well. So I feel like, looking at the child and the person and our families as a whole, to be an aligned family is very important versus just our mental health. Or I think the physical health is just as important. What supplements are we taking? What are we feeding our children? What is that looking like? Are we on a lot of medications? Could those be changed? I mean, there's a lot of toxins we're exposed to. There's a lot of that as well. And we can't just skip over that and just look at the mental, because we're only looking at a part of the person. So that's probably how I set myself probably the most apart as a parenting coach, is looking at the body as a whole. Sure. I cannot not do that as a chiropractor. You have to do that, right?
Yeah.
We don't segregate people. Like, you're one whole energy field.
and the more you look at that, the more you realize how super intertwined it all is.
It all is. It's all intertwined, and it's fascinating, and actually simplifies it. People think it's going to make it more complicated, but actually people that I work with are like, it's just so much simpler. Like the way you explain it, and this outlook just makes it so much easier, rather than this rabbit hole and this rabbit hole and this rabbit hole and this rabbit hole. And I'm following this person for nutrition for my kid, and this person for the mental health, and this person for how to structure my day. And I mean, you can just go bananas.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Right. Amen.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Bob, fantastic having you on our podcast again. We're so lucky. At Bombastik Broadcasting, we like to say that a rising tide lifts all boats. So tell us a little bit about what you offer and your website and that sort of thing.
So I just entered social media here recently. I'm actually on Instagram now.
You exist,
so I am
right?
on Instagram. Transcend with Barbara is my at my handle. Is that what you call it? Even a handle? I'm like, that tells you I've been home with my kids. I'm an unschooling mom too. I've been busy. I've been living the life. So that's why I have a lot of experience. And so time to move on. And so you can find me on Instagram, and you can also find me at transcendwithbarbara.com. I have a website. Okay. I offer group stuff, and I also offer one coaching.
A pleasure having you on our show again. We really appreciate it. And for our listeners, be ready to learn how to love yourself more, be ready for more fun, and be at the summit.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. So much more in this world that you can do. Wake up. Every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up. You keep shining. You keep grinding. Wake up. All is aligning. All you gotta do. Wake up. My man Mo said that the reason that the world fucked up is cause everybody lazy. Positivity is corny to them, but they still gonna complain about the bad going on. Shit crazy. So I just had to drop a little project. I don't know what the object is, but this feels good. If you too hood for the good vibe, sorry I ain't got nothing for you, why should I?
You shouldn't. We out here doing the things that y'all wouldn't. Life could be a sweet ride, proof is in the pudding. These guys with the weak vibes, I'll show them where to put it. Down bad, I was looking for the answer. Mind all mad, taking over like a cancer. Canceled the sub plans, came from up above. Told me everything but doing, showing love. And I gotta
wake up. So much more in this world that you can do. Wake up. Every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up. You keep shining. You keep grinding. Wake up. All is aligning. All you gotta do. Wake up.
I've been getting so high, head up in the clouds. I don't ever wanna come down, but I gotta
wake up.
Ain't enough time to be down. Bust a smile, cause it's yet another day that I'm allowed to
wake up.
Feeling blessed to be alive, man. Not long till we thriving. Take the time to remind yourself that it all starts inside yourself. Most.
Wake up feeling stuck every day, then you gotta realize that it's all in your mindset. Read about that meditation, you go get around to it, you just haven't had the time yet. Yeah, I bet. Best thing that you could invest in is you. Could have the results or could have the excuse. Only one life, so take care of what you choose. And I ain't preaching, I'm just telling you the truth. Wake up, so much more in this world that you can do. Wake up, every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up, you keep shining, you keep grinding. Wake up, all is aligning. All you